Imagine the retribution that a pissed guardian dog may exert when it finds wannabe burglars on its turf. Confident in their plans, burglars may end up finding themselves face to face with a fiercely loyal guard dog that won't let them back out. With every misstep, the thief's bravery fades, replaced by sheer panic as the loyal protectors spring into action. From comical confrontations to daring escapes, these tales reveal the surprising outcomes when burglars underestimate their furry adversaries and get themselves trapped. Get ready for a collection of unforgettable encounters that redefine what it means to guard a home. Number 1. Over before it started. Some guard dogs work well, even in a form of prevention. These two guys driving down the street on a bike have actually done it just to check and see if there's something valuable to grab from this household. We notice that the dog immediately reacts and gets closer to the gate that he is guarding. As they get back, we see that one of them is actually armed, but this doesn't make the dog shy away. Finding a buddy, it actually attacked these two wannabe burglars who were in the end chased away. Number 2. Don't mess with the dog. A burglar in this story started out feeling quite confident in his ability to charm the security dog into letting him rob the place. As we will see, the guy was made to readjust his expectations. After the burglar got inside, the dog indeed showed his playful nature. It walks up to the man, somewhat confused. We can almost see it pondering whether to wiggle its tail at the stranger or if this would be an overreaction. Even as the guy is petting the Great Dane, we see it doesn't let its guard down. So far, so good is what the thief must have thought, but all it took was a single scream from the homeowner to help the dog decide this is not a guy to welcome. Making sure not to harm him gravely, it kept trying to bite the guy's clothes and not his flash. Immediately launching itself at the dude, we see the burglar being chased away, but he gets caught soon after. Number 3. Does size matter? Here is a dude strolling down someone else's yard. As he went in, he must have seen the doghouse to the left, and as he kept sneaking around, he was probably thinking to himself, I hope it's not a big guard dog that these people have. Well, this experience will teach him that even tiny legs can carry a fearless heart. Seemingly freaked out of his mind, the dude escapes in panic, jumping not just over one, but over 2 tall fences, and his pursuer just senses that his job here is done and walks away. Well done, little dog. Number 4. Can't be sneaky around a Doberman. The guy lingering at the entrance clearly has second thoughts about breaking into this place, and soon, a guard dog will teach him that he should have listened to his instincts in this case. As he walked in, he hoped no one would notice his presence, but you can't really pull that off when there is a Doberman nearby. Probably hoping to find valuable tools in the shed, the thief entered through its window, which is what sealed his fate. He was now not only stuck inside, but also surrounded by the alert dog and the homeowner who noticed something was up. The guy grabbed a stick and confronted the thief, who had no way out, especially since the dog kept watching all the exits. Number 5. Burglar had no way out. If you know the first thing about dogs, it is probably that you shouldn't mess with a pit bull. Well, someone should have told this to the poor burglar who decided to rob a home at which 2 of these beautiful but scary guard dogs live. Slowly sneaking over the fence, this guy tries to soundlessly land in these people's yard. Of course, this doesn't work out at all, since moments after his feet touched the ground, 2 strong jaws were attached to them. The dogs worked together and kept pulling on the guy's clothes so fiercely that they managed to bring him to the ground. At that moment, the burglar realizes that he's got more than he bargained for, and he tries to beg the homeowners for help. Well, You should have thought about that before you tried to rob the place, guy. Number 6. Good boy. Here is a funny-looking phantom trying to break into somebody's house. He even has the support of another dude in doing so, who we see shyly waiting in the background. As he manages to pry open the first door, he pulls off this hilarious donkey kick move, trying to get inside, but this was loud enough to alert the homeowner and our star of the show, which is his dog. While one of the dudes immediately realized they should give up on what they were about to do, the other one took some time and nearly got bitten by the brave guard dog that this good boy is. Number 7. Using a dog as a weapon. In some cases, when there's a guard dog around you, you may never consider yourself empty-handed. As this clerk realized the guy was about to try and rob him and pull the weapon on him, the dog immediately grabbed his hand and went into action. All the shop worker had to do was give him a boost over the counter so that the chase could begin. Number 8. Wannabe burglar taught a lesson. Now here is a fella who thought himself a dog whisperer. Well, your tricks won't be of any use, Mr. Burglar, since the two dogs entirely ignored his hilarious attempt and went straight for him. One of them grabbed the perp's arm and refused to let go, even though the man put up quite a struggle. For starters, the man actually lost his coat, so his attempt at stealing from others was already scrambled. But that wasn't enough for the dog, who wanted his hat and his pants as well. We can say it seems quite determined to take this guy for all he has, which is a perfect retribution for what he wanted to do. Number 9. Strength in numbers. This fellow doesn't seem to have had a second thought about trying to rob these folks' home. He jumped over the fence and slowly made his way towards the homeowner's vehicle and probably garage entrance. But as soon as he showed himself, he was attacked by a vortex of tiny but fearless dogs that chased him away. They also managed to alert the homeowner, who got out of his home and chased the man further. Nicely done, little ones. Number 10. Trapped by guard dogs. If he were given a chance to go back and stop himself from trying to invade this home, we're fairly sure that this unfortunate burglar would do so. Instead, there are two guard dogs, and each of them has taken hold of one of his arms. This guy is now essentially at their mercy, and he clearly realizes it since he keeps pleading to be let go of. Well, the dogs ain't buying it, and they proceed to rip his pants up, leaving him butt naked and unable to escape. Hoping it would make a difference, he ends up being stuck on the stone fence for a while. From there, he is still trying to escape, definitely regretting his decision to try and rob these people. The result of his plan, then, was to scale a tree, where we suppose he must have waited for the cops to show up. Number 11. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, burglar. Did you know that dogs can see fairly well, even in the darkness, and have a very keen sense of hearing? Well, that's how you were discovered and nearly bitten by this brave guardian dog, who secured the place but stayed paranoid even for a while after. Number 12. Dog saves gas station worker. This dude was having a regular day working at the gas station when a thief showed up intending to rob him blind. However, the little tail wiggler, who was right beside the worker, wasn't going to let this happen. If the burglar had the chance to think things through, he probably wouldn't have kept at this idea once he noticed the pit bull boxer guard dog standing in the back. Well, just a few pinches of his strong jaw were enough to deter the dude and chase him away. Number 13. Burglars scram when the dog shows up. The gate that you see being open is handled by one of the burglars who wanted to break into this place. The first one was just a scout, and the rest of the crew got there by a car that we saw parked in the front. As they got in, everything seemed to be going smoothly, and they proceeded to try and break the door open. One of them threw quite a few kicks before giving up and calling his mate with a crowbar to approach and try to break through. Both of them worked for quite some time to pry this door open, but neither managed to discern the growling sound that was getting louder by the second. Just as they were about to break through, a black guardian dog started chasing them, and they nearly fell head over heels, racing to their escape vehicle. Number 15. Spider-Man, is that you? Nope, it is just another burglar cornered by two huge guard dogs, left with nowhere to go and nothing to do but observe the impending doom that awaits him below. Number 16. You shouldn't be here. A burglar has broken into a garden center, and a police dog was dispatched to help with his arrest. As soon as they got to the scene, the officer screamed out a warning to the man who she still couldn't see. But this doesn't mean he had any chance of escaping when there's a police dog at the scene. The dog proved to be threatening enough for this dude to immediately surrender himself to the officer. Number 17. Picked the wrong target. This guy probably thought that he would be sneaky enough to get away with stealing from this place. What he didn't know, though, was that multiple guard dogs were protecting the place, and they didn't feel particularly forgiving that day. As soon as they sniffed him out, the big one ran and got a hold of the man, creating enough noise to alert the other guard dogs who showed up. The guy then tried to flee, but as one would expect, when being chased by 3 guard dogs, you don't stand much of a chance. Instead of letting him go, the dogs managed to keep him, and this struggle went on and on for quite some time. Hopefully, enough time for the burglar to change his perspective on stealing from others. Number 18. Running won't do much good. Trying to escape the law isn't the brightest of ideas, especially when the law has 4 legs and impeccable training. That is what sealed the fate of this escaping suspect, who was apprehended in a matter of seconds. Number 19. Stay down. Honestly, we would definitely question this fella's sanity, but then again, we'll leave it up to you to decide. This guy who tried to break into the building he is standing on is cornered. His response was to jump in front of 2 huge guard dogs that were waiting for him down below. He probably hoped that he would fare better than reality would soon teach him. Instead, he ended up being stripped by 2 scary sets of teeth. Eventually, he managed to grab a cable and tried helplessly to use it as a weapon. Well, the funny thing is that after his hoodie was off, he showed us he might be a proper Donatello, wearing purple and waving a stick around. All that was left to do here was wait for the dogs to tire him out before the guys would move in and pin him down so that the cops could take over. Number 20. Dog saved a random woman. When your calling is to be a guard dog who you protect, it doesn't even have to matter. This stray dog was probably having a chill day when this happened right in front of him. A woman was about to be robbed by this dude, but the little dog wasn't having it. Not in my street, he must have thought as he chased the guy away. Number 21. Dog uses his belly as a distraction. By now, we have seen many cases where burglars heavily regretted messing with guard dogs. This gorgeous creature, however, had a different tactic of approaching an unknown fellow who was entirely unhurried to pick up and steal a bike worth over $1,000. Look how playfully the fluffy pet shows its belly to this burglar. Well, in his defense, the perpetrator's face was clearly caught on camera, and considering how many laughs he has had during his time here, we can say there's no grimace he can throw that we won't be able to recognize in the future. Anyway, after having fun with the dog, the guy takes the bike and walks away. Number 22. Grandpa saved by dogs. An older gentleman has just parked in front of his house after he has withdrawn a paycheck from a bank. The dudes clearly followed him and decided to make their move once he pulled over in front of his house. Using weapons, they tried to scare him. At the same time, even though we had to blur her face, we could see the man's granddaughter trying to open the gate for him. The thieves on the outside have no idea what's happening behind the gate, and they're just going about their business of robbing this dude. They pulled him out of the car, and this was a cue for the guard dogs to go at them. After a quick attack, the dogs were scared off by the noise, but still, it seemed it was enough to scare the thieves away. Once they had picked up what money they could grab from the ground, they left and the family walked out to see what had happened. Number 23. A fearless guardian. Here's another fella who was getting back home from the bank and realized that he was being followed a bit late. Luckily, he managed to reach his home before the assault happened. Even as the guy in the red is walking up to his victim, we see that the dog is riled up and running all around. As soon as he attacked the man, his dog ran and attacked the dude. Its bravery seems to have been enough to make the robber escape without much of the money. Number 24. Dog vs. clothes thieves. Sometimes we truly must ask ourselves what in the world makes some people break into a home. Well, these guys' motivation seems to be fashion. They love standing out in any crowd, which is why they nearly got bitten by this brave guardian dog who chases them away and follows after them to see if they're truly gone. Number 25. A fearless dog faces thieves. Walking his dog, this fella couldn't have suspected that two armed guys on the bike would try to rob him. The best thing he could do was release the dog and let it do what it can. And indeed, it turned out to be quite enough as it managed to chase away the thieves. Number 26. Not Happening Thieves. Yeah, here's another guy who was just taking a stroll down the street with his dog when two fellas on a bike tried to rob him. He and his dog noticed that something was up, and the dog was clearly highly alert and prepared to take action, which it truly does as soon as the thief reaches for the man and has to retreat before his arm is snapped in half by the dog's strong jaw. Hilariously, the owner actually waves to the thief as he walks away. Number 27. The intruder ran in panic. Here's an intruder who walked up to someone's house, prepared to take them for anything and everything they had. As we later find out, the dude is a convicted felon. But what a polite felon this is, considering he first rang the door, but he didn't expect that a guardian dog would be the one answering. Sensing that something was not right, the dog went right into it and started barking and howling. Number 28. The face of loyalty. Being attacked by burglars isn't the only case when guardian dogs can show their loyalty. Look at this good boy who's fearlessly protecting his owner, who has gotten himself pretty drunk and has fallen asleep in the middle of the street. Not even an officer of the law is allowed to approach the man without the dog's permission, and we can see that no one is prepared to risk it and mess with the drunk dog owner. Can you imagine what this dude will feel once he wakes up in a few moments? Well, let's hope it's not just embarrassment and a pure shock of waking up in the middle of the street, but also a sense of gratefulness and pride to be the owner of such a loyal dog. Number 30. Not as furry, but certainly helpful. Fluffy guardian dogs aren't the only ones that criminals have to fear nowadays. There are also machines, such as this one, that are able to recreate the movements of the dog, but also some things that only a few well-trained ones could do, such as open a door. Just imagine the fear that wannabe burglars will feel when a metallic dog, probably powered by AI, opens a door and barges in. This one particularly is working his way into a house where there has been a shooting. Since the first door didn't budge, it tried its luck with the second one, and indeed, it got in. Probably welcomed by horrified criminals. Number 31. Dog brought back up. This dude jumped over the fence to explore if there was anything valuable to find on this construction site. He thought he would manage to go by unnoticed, but this can't really happen. As we see, he has walked by and tried a few doors before escaping. But the dog, who was securing the place, brought an armed guard immediately after to check out the place. This is why the wannabe burglar had to walk away empty-handed. As the dust settles on these wild escapades, it becomes clear robbers should really consider their career choices. Each tale not only highlights the bravery of these canine guardians, but also serves as a humorous reminder you shouldn't mess with people's homes, especially when a dog is on duty. From unexpected chases to comical confrontations, it's evident that these four-legged defenders know how to send a message. So, the next time you think of breaking in, remember these pooches. We hope you enjoyed the content that we prepared for you today. Thank you for watching.